Principle 31, pop style comping. I'm going to be showing you two distinct guitar parts. The first guitar part is going to be a clean arpeggiated line and also with some spreads, okay? And then I'm going to overdub a more overdriven guitar part with lots of delay on it, kind of reminiscent of U2 and The Script, those kind of bands. And it's going to show you how two really distinct guitar parts can work seamlessly together over this pop groove. Now, of course, pop music is a very wide genre, okay? Now, we've chosen, obviously, to cover it in a certain aspect. And that's where this really comes into play for you guys, because what I'm showing you is something to inspire you. And then what I'd like you to do is take my chart, my groove and track, and then come up with some great parts yourself. And of course, glean from what I've shown you, but then come up with your idea of what a pop groove and what pop guitar stuff would sound like for you, okay? So we're going to pull up the track now. I'll play you that first clean part, and I'm using a very clean sound with some delay, chorus, and some stuff like that, something that's going to make it sound very ambient and hang in the mix, all right? And then I'm going to lock that down a bit tighter with the second guitar part. Okay, let's play over that track. Okay, so there's my first guitar part. As you can see, it's a similar kind of voicing moving with a bass note, all right? So we've got an upper part of the chord. Let me show you that. We've basically got an F sharp here and a D being held down at the 4th and 2nd frets, as you can see. And then I've got that open G string. So we've got a sympathetic note that's ringing out throughout the chord. And I'm moving the bass note around with that. So we've got a slash chord of sorts, if you like. So this is a G major 7 kind of idea with an open G there as well. So then I'm moving to the C, then to the B, all with downstrokes, and then again. Now the key here that's really tricky is to get these notes sounding really clean, especially that open G, all right? You're going to find sometimes that you're going to get a little bit of a warble on that if your finger touches those strings. So again, it's a little tricky to articulate on the guitar, all right, and keep in time as well. So that's the pattern of that. Now, there's an A section and a B section to this track. Obviously, you heard that. Now, when I went to the B section, instead of using just a straight E minor, I'm using an E minor 9, and I'm playing that with my little finger at the 7th fret on the 5th string. First finger's holding down the F sharp, the 9th, all right? And then the rest of the tones are open strings. You've got an open G, open B, open E. And I'm using the low E as well, okay? Now I'm playing that as a spread chord. And that means I'm just spreading across the strings, almost like I'm arpeggiating it, but more of a strum as well. So, okay, put a little bit of tremolo on that as well. Now you could also play that with an upstroke, which would be really nice as well, okay, either way that you approach that. Now the second chord is an A minor, but I'm putting the 9th in it with an open string. That open B string is the B, which would be the 9 against this chord, so it's A minor 9. And again, the theme of this is keeping open strings sympathetic through the track. as we did on the first part, okay? Nice open strings on the E minor, nice open strings on that A minor. Really nice there. Then it repeats. And then the turnaround chord is a D add 4. Now a D add 4 is a D chord with an added fourth, and don't confuse that with a sus4. A sus4 means that the third isn't present. We have the third present in this, so it's an add 4 chord, and the 4 is that open G. So we're keeping that consistent with the first part. Now let me play round one time round the A section, one time round the B section, just so you can hear these parts without the track. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so that's the whole guitar part. Now, one of the reasons that I've chosen to play the spreads and the arpeggios is the other guitar part that I'm going to play is doing the opposite to that. It's more closed voicings, and it's going to have a different sound to it as well. So I wanted something that stayed open and ringing while the other guitar was doing something else. All right, and now you're going to be able to hear that when I play the next part. So we'll pull up the track. I'm going to change my sound a little bit, and I'll tell you about that when we get to that segment. See you in a bit. There's pop guitar part number 2. I'm using a little bit more edge, you know, a little more overdrive on the sound. There's delay on there, obviously I want those nice repeats. And I've got some chorus as well on the sound. But what I'm doing is I'm palm muting this first part because I want those delays to really be percussive, not ring out so much. And then I'm opening that up a little bit when I get to the B section and letting those arpeggios really ring together, and using the tremolo bar, as you saw me use, to make those nice sustains and those dips in the pitch a little bit as well. So let's play through this a little bit and show you what I'm doing. Very simple part, but again, deceptively simple, because you've got to make sure you're playing this in time, okay? And anytime you're playing something simple, it's usually harder than playing something complex, all right? Because we tend to want to do something more with it. Okay, so let's take a look at the part. And the first chord I'm playing is a G fragment, and you can see there's the G shape on the fretboard, but I'm only utilizing these two tones, the G and the D note, and I'm using those to pedal against each other, and I've got this sound here. So that's the approach I'm playing, okay? Now you can hear the delays on there too. I'm going to keep them on so you can hear what I'm doing. So the first part of this is, so I'm going up to an A note here, then after the A note I'm going to play an F sharp with that third finger, back to the G, back to the F sharp. So watch closely what I'm doing. Okay, and I'll do that again. Okay, now that's the part for that, and obviously letting the delays, and let the palm muting off a little bit. I'm muting this so you can really hear that. Now the next part is I'm moving down to a C note here, and I'm going to use this G open string as a pedal tone as I move through the tones up the frets. Okay, so And you can hear how nice that pedal tone is against those tones as well. So C, D, E, and F sharp. So here's that whole first A section guitar part, okay? So here it is. And what you can do as you move through the track is open up the palm muting to increase the intensity, all right? So that's always wise to do as well. Feel the music and use your part. You could be playing on the second half as you build towards the A section. Okay, so now to the A section. A little bit different approach. I'm playing our triad chords now. So here's showing you the value behind knowing some of these triad shapes that we talked about in the beginning of the course. Here's an E minor triad, top 3 strings, and all I'm doing is playing an arpeggio from the highest note and letting them all ring together, all those tones ring together, and then using a little bit of a dip on the whammy bar to add some nice flavor. Then I'm moving the chord up the fretboard to be an A minor triad. And again, same dip, repeat the E, A minor, and then the turnaround is that D. Now this shape here is a D major triad, which is obviously going with that D add 4 chord. So here's the A section. And then going back into our arpeggiated line with the delays again. So there's my second guitar part. I think works seamlessly with the first one. Analyze this if you want to. See where I placed each chord against the other one if you want to. And then come up with your own part. You could come up with a second guitar part to play over my first, all right? And vice versa. You could play the second guitar part and find your own guitar part that you think works with my second part. And again, write out some of your ideas, all right? Bounce them off a friend and maybe collaborate on some cool things as well. We've given you these great tracks. Utilize them and have some fun as well playing some pop over this.